Welcome to the GSCS Educator's Guide to Copyright. Our understanding of copyright has evolved, especially now that we are all working online more than ever due to COVID-19. We continue to get questions from teachers and administrators related to copyright, so we created a slideshow for you to view as a staff. This presentation includes detailed speaker's notes and links to resources. It was developed with the intent for it to be used for future reference if and when questions arise. You can locate this presentation along with other copyright information on OneStop. The link is included in the resources section towards the end of the presentation. Copyright is the legal protection of ideas and works. Works may include literature, art, or music. Copyright legislation allows for the creator to have control of their work and receive compensation for it. The Copyright Act in Canada is federal law that everyone is expected to adhere to. It is important to understand that American and Canadian copyright laws are different. Therefore, it is necessary to refer to the terms of use when accessing and using ideas from print resources, such as a textbook, or non-print resources, such as a picture from a website. We have curated all of the frequently asked questions we have received in the last 10 months to create our table of contents for this presentation. We will cover the following topics in the next few slides: face-to-face versus online instructional contexts, digital and print resources, adding content to presentations and online classrooms, attribution, best practices, and we'll end with information regarding resources and links.
We will take a look at the copyright laws that are in place for education, including face-to-face and online instruction. The same copyright laws apply both to online and face-to-face instruction. Please note, any special permissions that were put in place due to the pandemic have expired. All educators must follow the Copyright Act unless written permission has been granted by the creator or the owner of the content. If you are uncertain of what you can use in your online or face-to-face classroom, the Fair Dealing Decision Tool is a great resource. The link is on the slide. When using print and digital resources, there are specific copyright laws that we must consider. The 10% rule is very important to understand. Only one chapter, one unit, one article from a journal, or 10% can be reproduced per semester for high school or per school year for elementary. For example, one unit from a science textbook can be reproduced and shared with students. However, you cannot post one unit of the text in your Google Classroom, take it down, and post unit 2 from the same textbook. Owning a physical copy of a book does not give the owner the right to make a copy of any more of the book than is permitted under fair dealing. Even if we have purchased textbooks, such as Nelson Literacy, although hard copies have been purchased for each of our elementary schools, the 10% rule still applies. As a division, we have either obtained permission or we have purchased online access to resources. For example, Math Makes Sense resources are available through the Math Learning Community tile because we have obtained permission to use this in the portal. Online religion resources, such as Growing in Faith, Growing in Knowledge, and Fully Alive, have been purchased for each student and are available through links shared in the weekly bulletin. Consumables are intended for one-time use, and reproducibles are sold with authorization to copy for educational purposes. It is important to always read the terms of use before making reproductions. For example, Math Makes Sense Grade 1 and Grade 2 student workbooks are consumables. Jump Math is another example of a consumable workbook that must be purchased per student each school year. For more information, you can click on the poster on the slide to access the Fair Dealings website.
Content includes anything that you add to your online or face-to-face classroom. This includes print or non-print materials, such as an image, video, music, scanned material, audiobook, textbook, article, etc. The content that you choose to post and share must follow copyright laws. The same copyright laws that are applied to materials used in the classroom also applies to materials shared online. Anything that a teacher decides to use in the classroom should include a citation of the original source. It is also important when posting and sharing online resources with students that it is done in a learning management system. An LMS is password protected and restricts access to students only. Some examples of learning management systems we use in our division are Google Classroom and Moodle. Teachers Pay Teachers is an example of a site that contains educational resources. Even if you have an account, you still need to refer to the terms of use, including the required attribution, before using, sharing, or modifying the content. For example, if you purchase a lesson from Teachers Pay Teachers, the creator may not allow for the work to be shared with others or modified. Always consult the terms of use and attribution requirements. When searching for online content, try to use curriculum-aligned resources available through our division and the Ministry of Education. The Saskatchewan Ministry of Education purchases annual licenses and subscriptions for a number of online resources. All teachers and students in the province have access to these resources through Ed Online. If you need help locating and accessing ministry licensed materials, please refer to the link on the slide with more information. GSCS teachers and division staff have created online resources for the use of GSCS teachers. Resources have been carefully developed in accordance with copyright regulations, and GSCS has obtained special permission from creators for division use of some of the included resources. For example, this presentation was created using SlidesMania. We contacted the creator of SlidesMania for special permission to share the template within our division. The creator of SlidesMania granted us written permission to use, modify, and share her product within our division. Part of the agreement was to include attribution, and you will notice that each slide has a SlidesMania web address, and we also included a citation at the end of the presentation. GSCS teachers choosing to use resources developed by division personnel agree to the following. You cannot share the resources outside of our division. You must keep the attribution to the original creator. Give the appropriate attribution to the original creator if you are adding or modifying. And follow copyright regulations when using existing resources or when developing your own. Teachers providing materials online to students should always be aware that the same copyright rules continue to apply. We have had many questions about recordings. The big takeaway here is that recordings are considered to be reproductions. Therefore, only a portion of a book can be read aloud and recorded. Reading and recording an excerpt of a book is subject to the 10% rule. Recording yourself reading an entire children's book is not allowed because it infringes copyright. Only 10% or a chapter of a book can be read aloud, recorded, and shared with students. Live read-alouds, however, are permitted as long as they are for instructional purposes and take place during school hours. If a teacher does not have copyright permission for a reading, it may be worth searching on YouTube for audio or video recordings of a book. Teachers can link to these videos or embed them in a password-protected learning management system, and they can post it for a limited time to students in the teacher's class. The speaker's notes include a link to an example of a YouTube channel called Storyline Online, which contains online stories that are read aloud, and it appears to be legitimate. Teachers will have to use their best judgment in determining whether a work is posted on the internet with the permission of the copyright owner. Some factors to consider are the name of the account posting the material, the size and popularity of the channel, the commercial market for the work, the YouTube verified channel checkmark, and whether the uploader has given appropriate credit to the author and publisher.
Always give credit where credit is due. Attribution is when we give credit to the creator of a particular work. This includes music compositions, plays, audiovisual, novels, worksheets, etc. When using Creative Commons works, you must adhere to the attribution request by the creator. Attribution expectations are often found in the terms of use. If you are unsure about using someone else's work, you can contact the creator for permission. Our division requires written permission, such as an email, rather than verbal consent. Usually, the creator is willing to grant permission if the request is for educational purposes, if it will not be shared, and if it is not for profit. Anyone can license their work. CreativeCommons.org provides access to a free, simple, and standardized way to grant copyright permissions for creative and academic works, ensure proper attribution, and allow others to copy, distribute, and make use of those works. In summary, there are a few best practices to be mindful of to ensure you are adhering to copyright. Number 1, create your own resources or take your own photos while always adhering to media release guidelines. Number 2, link to legitimate sources for resources such as videos. Consider live read-alouds wherever possible. Number 3, use Creative Commons resources. Filter your searches for copyright-free images and music. Number 4, use online division or ministry resources wherever possible. The GSCS terms of use can be found linked in the slide. Number 5, get into the habit of citing your sources. It is good practice to track where you found the information. Keeping online materials stored in a password-protected environment such as an LMS with limited access helps to protect yourself and your students. And number 6, periodically review. Leave content for as long as you are using it. Your LMS is not intended to be used to archive or store resources.
We have created resources and cheat sheets for you to help actualize best practices in the classroom. Teachers should continue to reference the Fair Dealing Decision tool for copyright questions. In addition, GSCS has developed a number of copyright support documents that are located on OneStop. You can find the link in the speaker's notes. CMEC, or the Council of Ministers of Education Canada, have a number of resources that have been developed for educators. The Fair Dealings Guidelines also have a frequently asked questions section linked on the above slide. All of the links to CMEC resources can be found on our GSCS OneStop site. For more information, or if you have any questions, please feel free to contact Tressa Kokonis or Tammy Shercliffe.